Hey everybody, this is the Aggressively Medium podcast with Lee and Josh.
Episode 24.
If episodes were hours, we'd be a day old.
Yeah. If episodes were years, we would almost be able to get a hotel room.
Yep.
So by ourselves.
We'd still have to get a parent to sign for a
sign
hotel
off
room.
on
or
a
rental car,
which is insane. At 24 years old, you have to have a parent with you.
I think it's 26.
I thought it was 25.
It was 25.
Yeah,
It might be
25. Yeah.
We can all do it now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we're just counting down until we get our AARP cards and
Turn
can
40.
retire.
We buy a sports car. You've already done that. So
I've done that more times than
you're
once.
a little
but-
ahead of the game.
So episode 24, we got our friend, my friend,
Yeah.
Josh Bechtel.
Hey.
They just met today, so
Yeah.
they might be
That's how it
friends.
usually
Who
goes with
knows?
guests.
It's
Usually
almost
don't
instant
know.
friendship with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's very true. That's when we met initially. I was like,
Well, look how big he is.
We're
I'm just going to
friends.
say whatever he says. Yeah.
yeah, we're friends. Of course.
I'm on his team.
Just don't choke me.
Just don't choke me. Yeah. So how tall are you? Let's get that out of the way.
6'4".
Which is not. I mean, I'm 6'2" or 6'3".
That's a big inch, though.
It is, yeah.
That's what.
And then,
how I move around the house.
around
Yeah.
the station, the duty boots give it an extra inch because we have thick soles
Yeah.
and stuff. Because I
Yeah.
can't do the sneakers.
You can't do sneakers?
I can't do the
Bro,
sneakers.
I've got
I wish
old
I
man
could.
New Balance.
The
just
Velcros?
straight black. They're not Velcro. I wish they were Velcro
That would be number one.
because that would make my life better. The boots that we wear, though, I don't know. You've got zip up. You got zip ups?
No, I
just
actually
got
just
pull off?
transitioned. No, well, I had to get rid of my last pair of the Army boots that I had
you had
that
a
were
bunch
the
of Army.
lace up and stuff. Yeah, because the resoles were coming off again, so I had to change
Have you
over
been to
to
the
Red
surplus
Wings.
store in Coker? The Army surplus store?
I didn't
No,
know
I have
there
not.
was a
I've
surplus.
been,
new
I've
and
been
nice.
next door to the fireworks store.
We set
And I
up
was
there
like,
with the
I need
food
to go to
truck.
the other one.
I didn't even know there was one in.
It's very new.
I'm going to have to go up there. I
I
like
wanna
surplus
go.
stores.
Last 4th of July is when we went out to that little area first. I was like, sweet, an actual surplus store.
Yeah.
And you've been out there 0 times
Yeah.
since then.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
I want to
The Wharf claims to be a surplus store.
They are not. Well, they've got like.
They
a-
have two
two-
E-tools and some pants and a blouse.
Yeah.
Like the top military
Which
blouse.
they
So
carry Mammoth, so they're a great store.
Wharf
the
does?
Wharf
Yeah.
is really... Yeah,
Dang.
The Wharf
for
carries
all that
Mammoth.
other stuff. But I was
Yeah.
here years ago and needing something military-wise and like Googled surplus stores
And they
nearby.
popped up.
And they popped up. I said, yes. Got in there. I was like,
No.
man, this is really surplus a surplus. This is not what I need right now.
Yeah.
But they got Mammoth.
They got Mammoth.
So
Man.
So that's all you need to know right
doing
there.
pretty good.
Yeah. You can wear that on duty, I'm pretty sure.
That-
at the Army.
That's
They-
under the tops. As
Yeah.
long as you don't have to take it off. And
Well,
then
you can put
show-
it on over that. We just got clearance.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I bet you did.
We just
Double
got
secret clearance.
Yeah. Yeah. Only if you're the elite of the elite. SEAL Team 6 can't do it, but the guys above them,
Right. Yeah.
the guys nobody knows about,
Yeah.
the guys that don't exist anymore.
Those guys in plain clothes.
Yeah. Those
Probably
guys can
don't
wear it.
want your name on some of those missions, though.
Yeah.
They track
come
that
after
down
you.
to Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Any PR is good PR.
and now me being on this,
Yeah.
Maybe not
you
for
know, puts me
ISIS.
along with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so
I
you're
fear for my family
You're an
now.
accomplice
Dang.
in some way. But yeah, so you said Velcro. We've got zip up boots.
I like it.
I had a pair.
So you
didn't like 'em.
zip in and out. I like them because they're easy on, easy off.
Absolutely.
that's-
Absolutely.
Are they tied over the top of your foot?
See, what happens
laces?
is you put the zip up and then you tie the boot. And then what the zipper does is when you unzip it, it allows you to slide your foot out or back in, and then you zip it up, and it's tied already.
That's a quick
Yeah.
get in, get
Yeah.
out for
Yeah.
y'all. That makes sense.
I actually, the ones I just went with are Red Wing boots, and they've got the BOA lace system, so it's a cable.
Oh,
So
like
I
a
get in, like the
like a
Salomon
snowboard boot.
kinda- yeah, snowboard. You slap that thing down, crank it up,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
cool.
tight.
Well,
And
I
I'm
might have to look into
I
those,
like
man.
these much
Yeah.
better.
No,
Well-
you stick
My
with your
sides
old
at-
man shoes, Josh.
Well, half the time I'm
jealous
not
of
even
them.
in those.
Yeah, I'm jealous of the old man shoes.
Half
but
the time I'm in slippers because I work at Station 9.
What's the station by my house?
Station 6.
6.
Yeah.
I got a real deep divot when you pull in there.
Oh, it's horrible.
You scrape every time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think if you've been working there for 30 years, you'd still scrape. But yeah, so we're both firemen. That's how we got to be friends and knew each other. Is we worked at the same station. Well, we didn't work at the same station for a while. I would float up there,
Right.
But then for a year, I worked up there on the AR truck, which was the best thing that we've ever done.
What does that
Ever
mean?
done. AR is alternative response.
Yeah.
truck.
So if you call 911, you say I hurt my toe, then we sent the AR truck, which is just two guys in a pickup truck to assess the situation and say you probably don't need to go to the hospital.
They stubbed it, or if you show up and they blew it off with a shotgun.
Yeah,
Right.
that would happen. That would happen. Is somebody would be like, oh, they're drowsy, and then you'd get there and it's like, no, they're having a stroke.
Right.
Yeah.
Stroke or the blood sugar's 27, which normal blood sugar is 80 to 120. It's how most of the world operates.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was on AR, and so I was at Station 1, and you were at Station 1, and we got to become even closer friends.
That's right.
Learned a lot about each other.
We did when we could both be at the station together.
Which was not very often because you were on a rescue truck.
No, at the time I was.
You're on 5.
I was on engine 5.
Yeah, which
was
still
a busy engine.
Either way, 21 or 5, you're still busy.
Is that the one with the double steering wheel?
No, that's
32.
32.
It's our tiller.
Tiller. Yeah.
Obviously, I know a bunch about it. But
Yeah.
I
That's
just
the
know you
beast.
only have one of those.
We only have one of those for now.
Is that the one on campus?
Yes.
Yep.
We'll probably
remember
end up
stuff
getting
you
another
talked
one
about.
at some.
Yeah,
at
they
some
keep
point.
talking about getting another one to replace.
I'll just raise our taxes and get you on another one.
Appreciate it.
Probably. That's how it works, I guess, nowadays.
But yeah, so you were also in the Army
I was.
for a little while.
I did 4 years active,
Okay.
and then
wow.
quick little break. A year later, I got in the reserves, and that's kind of how it spun me to Tuscaloosa. It was a firefighting unit because that's what I left active duty to do. And I told the career counselor, it wasn't a recruiter anymore, but they called and said, hey, you are listed here as infantry, and what happens is your name or your file goes on a shelf towards most recently departed. Not from the life, but from the military.
I was about to say.
And what happens is they start needing to backfill people. Your file gets closer to the gonna reactivate.
Yeah.
And what happens then is you show up at the given date and time because your FedEx package said to, and you're going to show up with about 30, 40 other people who were at Fort Living Room sitting around hanging out, and now you have to be back. So you got a bunch of disgruntled people working together that have never worked together and mad about life. Or we can find you a reserve unit that if they deploy, you've at least had a
Some
couple
training
of
and stuff
times to work with those people and understand some of the actions and ways of the different people and stuff. And even if you can't work with them very well, you at least know how
to operate around
with
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I said. Well, if you can find a firefighting unit, that's what I got out to do. And Pascagoula, Mississippi had one. And I was living in Pensacola at the time. So I won't say it was a shorter drive because it was still about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I get over there and we do that once a month. And they sent me to Tuscaloosa for the recruit school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The year before, I guess the summer before, they sent me to San Angelo, Texas, where the DOD's firefighting unit is, or their academy for Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force. Like everybody that says I'm a firefighter in a military branch goes there. And I get out there, and long story short, was on ground for 24 hours, and they sent me home because I didn't have a physical. Now I knew I had this slot for this school for 7.5 months.
Yeah.
And I asked every time we got together or on the phone with my school's information guy, like, is there anything I need to know? Is there anything I need to do, take care of? No, you're good. Just be doing PT, have your uniforms, have civilian clothes because you're going to be off in the evenings and stuff on weekends. I'm like, okay. I lived in Pensacola at the time, and I could have gone to get one of these flight physicals at 3 different spots within the city of Pensacola, driven over to Eglin Air Force Base. I passed 2 other Air Force bases on my way to Texas. I could have had this knocked out, but no. So that fell through. We were getting ready to have our first child that fall, and I had worked it. If I recycled, I could do it once, and which I didn't plan on recycling, but you never know what happens, which means that you're going to have to repeat a phase, and then I'd be home in time for the birth of our first kid, which, if anybody knows, military is really good at letting you miss that kind of stuff. So that fell through. We had the kid, and then they said, "Hey, we got you a spot in Alabama Fire College because their certs transfer over to DOD." And I said, "That sounds great. That's within 5 hours from where I'm living. I can do the week, come home on the weekends." So I was here, and while I was here, Tuscaloosa Fire was going through their hiring process, and I got clearance during the academy on a couple of days to go take the written test and this and that, because I already had our agility test done. I was able to turn that in, and
the CPAT.
I'm here. The CPAT. I love the CPAT.
Really?
I do. I absolutely love it.
It's miserable. It's miserable. You 75 pounds on, doing a Stairmaster for 3.5 minutes.
You think that bothered him?
Well, I mean, him, no, but like normal people who aren't robots and bred with horses and all that other stuff. Yeah, but that thing sucked.
So yeah, the CPAT. I have to give a shout out to Mobile Fire, because at the time, that was 2008. He allowed me, the training officer at that point, allowed me to come and jump in with their CPAT for their candidates, and I wasn't applying to Mobile. But he's like, "Yeah, come on, let me get in there." He said, "Now we'll offer you this advice. Come on the day 2, because the first day we'll have 180 of our guys, and you don't want to be sitting here for 7 hours waiting." I said, "That's good." Yeah. So day 2 allows those that failed early to come back and try again. And they were all sitting there around talking. How did what got you? What got you? And one guy's like, "I got to the dummy drag, and like I went down and I couldn't stand back up." Someone said, "Well, how much time did you have?" He said, "I had like a minute, 20 seconds that I was just trying to move that thing, and I just couldn't move it anymore."
And these are like grown men.
To an extent, yeah. The age-wise, yes.
Yeah.
Age-wise, biblical times, they had families and been making decisions for their tribe, sure. But, I mean, at the time, they were like 19, 20-year-old kids.
Okay, yeah.
So they were children's at that age. But I was sitting there, hadn't done it yet, and they're asking what got me. I said, "No, they're letting me come in." So I waited. But I said, "You had over a minute, and you were on your way back with the dummy drag." So from there, they get it across the line. They only have one more event to do,
which is the ceiling pull.
Yeah, ceiling push pull. And if you can get there, 30 seconds, and you're done with that. As long as you can count to 5. So I was like, you let that get you? Now, I'm not saying the dummy was light, because it's like 160 pounds.
It's a big dummy.
It's a big dummy. Yeah. But you don't have to
and
carry
you've
it a
got
certain
50
way.
pounds on.
Right. They take the extra 25 pounds off once you finish the stair climber, and then you have that 50-pound vest. But it was just one of those, like, man, you can't quit. But
it's 9 minutes of work.
Yeah.
Like straight work.
Yeah. Well, I got done, and they said, "How'd you do?" I said, "I finished. I passed."
Yeah. I was fine.
To check when I get my paperwork. They're like, "What time did you get?" I said 7:44, and they're like, "Dang!" So you max out at 10:20. If you can't get in the 10:20, you're disqualified.
But anything under 8 minutes is pretty admirable.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't know any better. It was the first time I'd done it, and I was 3 years out of getting out of active duty and did some exercises. And so I wasn't like in the best shape, but I also had that mentality of, you don't quit till the job's done kind of thing anyway. But that was nice of the Mobile guys to let me jump in on that and take care of that, so I could come to the fire academy here and then get the job.
Did you when you're in the Army, did you get deployed to Afghanistan, places like that?
I did not.
Okay.
And that's I've had some internal wrestling to do with that. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I, we've talked about it. And I was in a non-deployable unit. Mm-hmm. And so we were part of a training brigade. So we trained guys in schools and things, which was fantastic. I was stationed on Eglin Air Force Base.
Oh, yeah.
But non-deploying, I was airborne infantry. And so having that training, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I desired to do that, but when firefighting kind of came up near the end of my initial enlistment, I felt more of that as a calling.
Yeah.
So I have the training of the military, and I fall back on it a lot.
Yeah. So you
in my life, but the non-deploying really kind of ate at me on the inside because I didn't go over. I can talk with vets, but I didn't deploy. I don't have those stories.
So as far as fallback on your training, you mean you've killed multiple people,
Right?
Since you got out,
Non-disclosed. Yes. No. We weren't that kind of cloak and dagger school, but we just the discipline and the mentality, like I was talking about, of having that thought process of you don't quit till the job's done. You don't.
Probably helped with the tornado.
I was about to say that had to transition into firefighting.
Yeah,
it transitioned into the firefighting very well. Just because our jobs, you've got to
you don't get to just quit because it's
right
because it's hot.
Ooh, it's fires. The fires we've had here lately over the summer. Just because it's hot outside doesn't mean that fire's going to get any less hot.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a grass fire.
Oh,
and you're in full gear.
I absolutely despise grass fires in July and
It's
August.
the least because we're not set up. There's two types of firefighters. You've got structural, and then you've got wildland. Wildland guys have like their gear is
Well,
like
that's
a
a different
t-shirt
world.
and
really
but we
is.
still get called on those.
Yeah. So like
And
those
so-
fields out in front of Shelton State, if someone flicks their cigarette butt out and that big grass fire is just going, we're still going to go and try to put it
And
out.
we've got to put it out with equipment that is not made for putting out grass fires.
Right.
It's, with those guys, they're like back burning or using like where they would like set the other end of the field on fire. And so then they just meet in the middle and then fires out.
Yeah.
We're like hauling 100 pounds worth of gear around when they've got like a t-shirt and jeans on.
Yeah.
And
The long sleeve button up and, cargo short or cargo pants.
and we've got full structural
I
firefighting
like to call
gear.
it my blanket pants and my blanket shirt or my blanket jacket.
It's intense.
Yeah.
If you've never put firefighting gear on, it's different.
I did when I was little when they'd come to the school.
Oh yeah, so you know what it's like then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally remember. Well, that's
They tell you to stop, drop, and roll in the trailer with fake smoke in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that.
What happens if your house catches on fire? It's my favorite response. Kid was like, stop, drop, and roll. And we have to know that's for if fire gets on
outside.
you.
Yeah.
We need to get low and get out. But
Yeah. Or stop, drop, and roll.
or
Either one.
roll towards the
Put
outside.
the
So
fire
you came.
out.
So you came to Tuscaloosa as a firefighter in 2000.
8. I was here doing the academy spring of 2008. Took the test and all that in May, and when I got hired in September of 2008, the hiring process for me, I always say it was a God thing because I still have guys that are hired under me now that say I was on that list for 4 years.
Yeah.
I was on that list for like 6 years. I was on there for 2.5 before they even called me up, and I was like, I made 4 months.
Yeah, same.
And I got the letter, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I'm not a standout guy. I stand out in a crowd because I'm 6'4", 250 pounds, but that's it.
Well, that's a big it.
Well, that is, I am a big it, I guess. But just getting hired on, there was nothing that in my file was like this guy. But
what I tell people though too is if you can take a test well, you can. If you do well enough on that test,
yeah,
you get a good score, you're way up on the list
That is
because there's
true.
not a lot of smart people applying for the fire department.
yeah.
There's usually not. They're like, all right, what's easy? I'm gonna go be a fireman.
I'm gonna be a fireman. Yeah.
2 + 2
So
is
y'all's stories are a little different.
A little bit. And I was never one of those kids that growing up was like, I want to be a fireman when I get older. I never had that thought like, ooh, it'd be fun to slide that pole, but you got to go in somewhere it's hot.
Yeah.
Get a Dalmatian.
I'm out.
Get a Dalmatian.
Well, I remember as a kid asking about the dogs at the station. Like, no, we don't keep dogs around.
Do you know what that's for?
Well, yeah. Initially, it was to chase people out of the way of the carts with the horses being drawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that it was for whatever reason, Dalmatians calm horses down,
So
and so it was to help.
That may be a possibility.
I heard there's another thing that's like stray dogs
Okay.
would come and like start
Mess with
going at the horses when they're.
So it was all
And
horse
so-
related. It was
yeah.
way back
Oh,
then when
yes.
they had just tanks
That's
of
the
water
reason
with
there was.
horses on
That's
them.
the reason they had poles too. Is
Yeah.
because the bottom floor was for the horses. And then
Yeah,
the top floor was like
everything.
sleeping quarters and stuff. And so easiest way to get down
does
there.
stunk.
There's fire departments with slides and all kind of like. What's the easiest way to get from
From top to bottom.
Yeah.
top to bottom? Yeah.
cool.
So they started taking the poles out because at 2 a.m. sliding a pole safely is a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better pretty easy to roll an ankle. At the
Roll
bottom
an
of
ankle.
Or if you talk to an
throwing
older
the,
guy who worked at one of those stations, it's because we're all pansies now.
Right, right. Now,
can't slide down
I
a pole
actually
at 2
did
a.m.
come when Old Station 1 was there just off
And they
Lurleen.
had a pole.
And then we had 2 poles actually out of the bunk room.
So being here in 08, you had a couple of years under your belt before the infamous tornado happened.
We were helping clear debris out of yards and
Yeah.
cut trees up with chainsaws, which thankfully kind of grew up around a farm, and I knew how to operate a chainsaw for the most part. But it's incredible. Again, God thing stepping in. Nobody was injured. We had 100 plus, 200 plus people out there running chainsaws. I did have one moment where I realized I'm way in over my head, and so big trees down. I'm talking 3 of me could lay in the trunk and still probably play cards, big trees. And, you got a limit from the top down. And so I had kind of climbed up on this giant, like this chute of a trunk off the main trunk was, the size of most trees now. And I'm sitting there limbing and cutting things loose. Well, I got one cut and all that weight was released. And that shootout raised up about a foot, and I was still standing there. There's no more branches or anything. All I've got is about a 10-foot drop, and I'm on a diving platform and chainsaw running in my hands, and I got like this wobble in my knees because this thing's still moving, and I'm like, oh, this is I've hit my moment. I'm gonna have to go sit down for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. I had one of those one time. My dad, he was like, hey, they like live way out in the woods. He was like, there's a limb
Literally
up there.
in the woods.
Yeah.
I
He's
grew
like,
up in cornfields in
there's-
Indiana, so I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, there's a limb up there, way up there. We need to get to it. Ladder's not tall enough. He said, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put you in a climbing harness. And it's got like, it's like a circle in the back.
Right.
He's like, and I got this,
that
I got a
too.
crane over here. And so we're going to clip into the back of the harness, and then I'm going to raise you up on the crane.
I like where we're headed with this already.
And then we got a pole saw that we're going to, cut these limbs down. Well, so the hole in the harness was like a circle,
Okay.
but then the hook didn't have a clip.
Okay.
It's just a hook,
It's getting better. and
just a
better.
hook, like no clip in,
Right.
nothing like that.
That's all you need.
well, hold on. So I'm up probably 60 feet in the air with a pole saw. And the thing is there's no way to control. So you're like turning. You're
You
just
are
spinning.
almost an astronaut.
Yeah, you're spinning and waiting to come back around to the tree and get after it with the pole saw for a second. And then we just, all right, now we're going to go this way for a minute and then come all the way around and then get after it again with the pole saw. So I was sitting there and did that, and I got like one limb down and raised me up a little bit higher. And there was a limb that I could kind of brace myself like with my feet.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'll kind of like brace myself right here. Well, I stood up for a second and I heard the clanging of
It
the metal
unhooked?
hook
Unhook.
and I was like,
You needed the weight. To
I was
hold
like,
the hook in.
I'm scared.
Well, you
like I could die. But I was
Right.
like, in my head, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna finish this limb and we'll be fine. So I got that one. And as soon as I got that one, it got hooked on my foot.
Oh.
And so the limb is like pulling me down essentially. So I get it and I just watch it fall all the way to the ground and hit the ground. And I was like, I'm done.
yeah.
I am done.
Sounded a lot like a
Yeah.
hitting the ground.
Exactly. And so I put the pole saw down because I had it attached to me. And I was just holding on to the vest like this, just spinning. Just up at 60 feet in the air. And I was like, all right, I'm ready to get down. My dad was like, all right. And then he goes to like get me down. Well, then the truck stalls out.
Oh no!
So the crane stalls out, and I'm just sitting there spinning, and then my mom's screaming from the
You're
ground
just hanging
that
like a
I was
piñata.
choking because she saw me doing like this. So she's screaming that I'm choking. The dad's running around the thing trying to get it, and I'm just like, I'm never doing this again.
No,
That was my moment of like, yeah, I need to.
y'all have you have to have a moment like that sometimes when dealing with things because you start getting a little you can get a little cocky
Yeah.
with a chainsaw.
Yeah. And you shouldn't.
I am no.
You
never.
should never be cocky with a chainsaw.
No.
No.
And don't, man. But one of the few times I ever used a chainsaw, I bumped my finger with it just within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I hadn't been around chainsaws much.
Never get cocky with chainsaws. Never get cocky with bears. That's
right.
the 2 rules I live by.
You live
Solid.
by?
I live by.
A lot of bears.
I've seen a bear
Oh,
and
man.
realized never being cocky around
Yeah.
you.
Solid.
Yeah. Them things are massive.
I'll tell you
Even
what.
the small ones are
Yeah.
huge.
The one I saw was a baby.
Right.
And I was like,
Well, that means mama's in the woods.
Yeah.
I was
looking,
like,
too.
I'm not down with this.
They said-
if that's a baby,
I'm out.
Stuff, because we were talking about podcasts before we started. One of the podcasts I listen to is called Meat Eater. It's like
Yeah.
the guys in Montana that hunt, and they're like the premier hunting people with, and they got a big podcast. They said the worst thing you can walk up on in the woods is a baby bear.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the worst thing. They'll
Those
take
guys have
they-
done it.
yeah.
they'll
they
take
are
an
speaking
800
their-
pound
yeah.
grizzly up on the side of a mountain. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You walk up on a baby
you walk
bear.
up on a baby bear, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Trouble. Yeah.
That's Montana, though.
Yeah.
That's Yellowstone.
Don't transition into that.
Well, it's only Yellowstone.
We went
is in
podcast.
Montana.
Josh
Montana,
likes Yellowstone, the show. It's
Yeah,
cool. Kevin
it's
Costner's
fantastic.
1,000.
I was going to I had more to say than just Yellowstone's a good show because Yellowstone's a great show. The
We don't watch
storyline-
it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the storyline of Yellowstone is fantastic, but the views, like every time they
Oh,
do like
pan-
a
oh,
scenic
yeah.
view or like a pan out or whatever, just mountains and fields and just
Absolutely.
valleys and just
Yeah.
Because they'll
amazing.
do almost like a drone shot from the action and go up to finish, episode
Finish the
or
scene
finish the
out,
scene
yeah.
out, and it's just nonstop beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Of
and that's
vista.
I want to go so bad. I've been like looking at
Those are some of my favorite parts as TVs have gotten better with the technology
Yeah.
and the pixelation. I'll just go sit somewhere and watch all the things change because it's just incredible.
We sit and watch, so we have an Apple TV. We don't have an Apple TV.
Yeah.
We have the little thing.
little box. Yeah.
When you double click the menu button twice, it goes to the like screensaver mode.
Oh yeah. And just sit there and
we
watch
just sit there and watch that.
Yeah. Well, and so one thing with Yellowstone, as I was thinking today, I was like, it's pretty much like a old timey Western. Like
Yeah.
when you would
Modern
like
day.
modern day Western. And to think how like there's not barely any like Westerns that come out anymore.
No.
But for a time period in Hollywood, that was like all that they made.
That was it.
And it's like, why did that stop?
That's a good question.
Like, why did Western TV, like Western movies and Western TV shows that were so like, because that's like, it was saturated.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all TV
Right.
was. And then
Centered
it's just like,
around the 100 years prior.
We went to
Yeah.
the moon.
that's true.
That is
Yeah.
the change.
It's different.
And yeah.
I started
Cities
thinking about
got bigger.
maybe it was like, maybe now we have where we can look at stuff from out west. Like, because it used to be this like allure of like,
Yeah, it
come
was-
out
it
west,
was
westward
the
expansion.
challenge of the frontier.
Yeah, but now we can just like look at our phones and go, "Oh, that's what a mountain looks like,"
Right.
and then we're done.
Well, I think with it is following along with the moon. Space started becoming
Right.
that
That's it
next,
now.
you
Yeah.
know,
Or that
the Star
was
Trek,
it.
the
Yeah.
final frontier kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we started science fiction really kicked off.
That's
And-
true.
And we started thinking about that.
Well, that's why they attributed the success of Star Wars so much because it was a Western
Right.
Yeah.
movie that was set in space,
Yeah.
and so
I think. Oh, totally.
they were like,
So it was.
"Yeah, this is why it was a winning combination because you got space
Yeah.
and you got Western,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
fantastic." But
That's what
like
I'd go with.
just looking at like man, like all the scenes of Montana I'm like, maybe I want to live there. Like,
And then
'cause it
now
just
we
looks
can
amazing.
actually like we have the technology to do those like historical fiction shows.
Yeah.
Because like you couldn't do Game of Thrones
yeah,
25. I mean, you could,
but it wouldn't have been
like,
as good.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And so
a
it
dragon would have just been a guy in a costume going,
right. It looked like the old Godzilla.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it,
The propane tank versus
Yeah.
burping the flames
Yeah.
out of the
right.
mouth.
Right.
I kind of wish they would have tried to make it now just so I
back and
could
do it
watch
all.
that.
You
I
can
mean,
almost see the like puppet strings
Yeah.
We
hanging from the
watched
thing.
Masters of the Universe at the station, and
Really?
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. Dolph Lundgren
Yeah.
as the main guy. Yeah, it was awesome.
That
Great.
guy, you know how smart that guy is?
He's very smart.
He's like, we're talking about
Mensa smart.
we're talking about Drago from
Correct.
Yeah.
Rocky.
Yeah.
He has like 3 PhDs.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has like smart PhDs too, not just like
Not those
sports
basket
science
weaving.
PhD
the
or whatever.
PhD
Honorary.
emeritus. Yeah.
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 He has like science PhDs and stuff.
And he still couldn't be Rocky.
wow.
All that
They became
science.
more equals though.
All that science.
Yeah.
He tried.
He tried, but
Well, see,
Rock got him.
I wonder. I've always wondered, like, did he get smart because he kind of helped design? Remember in his training camp,
Oh, yeah.
The treadmill
it was
with all the hoses coming off
the
of it.
hoses. He had the punching machine. It would
Yeah.
measure how
He broke
forcefully. Yeah, it just
That was,
shattered it.
Yeah, that was actually his like what he did to prepare for that role.
what I
Is he
thought.
got his PhD.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In exercise science.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they just went to his house and like that's what
They
he's
filmed
actually
all this.
like,
Yeah.
That's what he was actually training on.
Can you break it? Yes. I
When his wife
must break you.
when his wife in the movie married Flavor Flav, that's probably when he was like,
Yeah.
I got to go back to school.
Something's not working out here.
Oh,
Have you? Oh, never mind.
Brigitte Nielsen, that was her
Yeah,
name.
that
That
was
was
her
his
name,
wife in
Brigitte
the movie,
Nielsen.
or his girlfriend, or whatever.
How
she
bad
was.
would that make you feel as a man that your wife went
Well,
and
that was
married?
a movie. It wasn't his actual
he
wife.
had his science to fall back on.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. So I gotta get my life together.
How bad would that make you feel though?
if my wife
If your
divorced me
wife,
and married
like-
Flavor Flav?
Yeah.
I
You just like pretty much a cartoon character that's alive.
have so many
Like,
questions. yeah.
the
Yeah.
main question I would have is, am I on that level? Like,
Right.
am I like if you were
If
attracted
that-
to me and to him?
Yeah.
Did you go up or down in
Yeah.
Yeah.
your picks?
And if you went down, how did I make you fall like that?
How did I make
And if you
fall?
went up to Flavor Flav, I got to do better.
Yeah.
I think if it would have happened, or if it, hypothetically happened, I would almost say, you know what, we could have had a conversation.
Yeah.
We could have
Yeah.
talked this out.
could have figured this out.
I feel we could have had, a little,
Yeah.
Something could have been
little
done.
bubbly,
Or maybe
little
you
pizza.
just,
we
like-
could have talked this over. And what
Maybe-
are some of the things you're expecting out of our relationship?
Yeah. Do I need
You're
to wear more
expecting-
jewelry?
Yeah. Do I need a massive clock around my neck that I just?
Yeah.
I will ditch the watch.
I
We'll
could have
get
told
it.
you the time.
I could have told you the time.
If that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
Did that clock even work? I don't even
Probably
know.
not.
I don't think so. Maybe.
I had
First
a-
off, who cares?
I had a
I don't think
discussion.
that was
I had
part
a
of his
discussion
allure.
with somebody the other day
About
where-
Flavor Flav's
no,
clocks?
We were talking about like.
That will come up in conversation
The-
at the fire station more often than you would think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Flavor Flav is probably 10% of conversation at
Yeah.
the fire
Did y'all
station.
watch those shows like Rock
I
of Love with Brett Michaels?
I watched the what was the Flavor Flav one? Because it was
something about
Again,
time.
I'm on the
Probably
who cares.
so.
I
boat.
watched it.
but so anyway, me and a buddy were talking, and he said the other day my wife told me that she found Mac Miller attractive, and he was like, "What does that say about me?"
I don't know who Mac Miller is.
He's
just
a
for the record.
rapper.
Okay.
I'll pull up a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is so. Mac Miller is like Eminem if all Eminem did was melt his brain with drugs 24/7.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, did he pass away?
So
I don't
did
think so.
I think that's Mac Miller.
do you think he
OD'd?
trims
Oh, he
that
did
beard
die.
in that manner, or does it grow in all white trash like that, like on Joe Dirt?
Probably gross that way. Yeah.
Don't try to church it up.
But I would just, man, I've done that even with like
You talking about Flavor of Love?
Flavor of Love.
That's
what the
the
show
show.
was.
Yeah.
Flavor of Love.
I watched it.
I'm not a big reality TV guy.
Yeah,
Alone
I'm not
is about
anymore.
as far as I go.
But that's not even real. That you talking about reality?
That's real TV,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
you know, some of the Survivor. Everybody's like, you gotta watch Survivor. It's these
Yeah.
people that put on an island. Where I'm like, no, their bed's softer than mine.
Yeah,
And they get
They've
to
got
play
Tempur-Pedics.
games. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
We-
You know, I got some friends. They're all big brothers.
oh
and
my
I'm,
gosh.
I'm like, no.
I'm
within the first 10 minutes of episode 1, the drama is making me want to
Yeah,
run out.
just
See, that's what I
screaming.
love about it.
See,
I
he
love The
watches-
Bachelor.
He
I like
watches
The
those
Bachelor.
religiously.
I watch The Bachelor,
Bachelorette.
Bachelor in Paradise, all that stuff because of the drama.
Okay, so if I could-
fast forward through the dates so that
That's
I can
fair.
see them go.
The cat-
I hate that.
I've got other groups that they do like pools
Oh yeah,
with Bachelor, like
see who's gonna win and
right,
stuff like that.
see who's
yeah.
gonna win, and it ends up being kind of like you would do fantasy football,
Yeah.
for the Bachelor. And I go, you know what? If I could get in on this, I might be more willing to watch it. But it doesn't draw me in.
Well, what makes me happy is to see people who are attractive getting their worlds just demolished
Right.
by other people.
That-
To know that it could happen to,
Yeah.
like I knew
Yeah.
it happened to me as a mediocre to lower mediocre looking guy,
Fair.
and to see somebody who's attractive just get their world crushed
Makes you
Yeah.
feel better about
makes
yourself.
me feel better.
Dang. I just don't really like. I don't like going out of my way to watch something that's 100% emotion based.
absolutely.
Only.
Yeah.
No
Right.
logic, no common sense, no thought process, just immediate emotion.
Yeah.
My emotional garden has like expanded since having kids.
Yeah.
You got 3 of them.
I've got 3 of them, and the first 2 were girls, and so that's just a different
Did you?
avenue.
Oh, this is perfect because we have a daughter.
Okay.
I want a son, obviously. If we have another daughter, I might just call it.
Well, we were done at 2.
Yeah.
And then I get a phone call about 10:30. I'm at the fire station, and she says, "On your way home in the morning, I need you to stop and get some pregnancy tests." I was like, "Huh?"
For the neighbor or something? What are we doing? You got a friend needs one? I don't know.
So somebody need one. We're trying to help them out. Keep it down on the
Yeah.
down low. Or she said, "I've peed on every one of these that we've got at the house."
Oh, no.
And they're old. The expiration date was, like last year. So I'm not sure how accurate they are. So I need some new ones. I was like, oh no. So at 10:30
So you got
at
to
night,
live with that for the rest of the shift.
for the rest of the shift, knowing that she's also not sleeping
Yeah.
well. And I did get home, and there were like 8 pregnancy tests on
Box
counters
of them.
and trashes. And like, oh my goodness, they're all saying pregnant. So at that point, we had like a 9-month-old, or how 7-month-old.
Yeah.
Because the 2 and 3 are 16 months apart.
That's close.
Oh, super close. It was as near to having twins without having twins I think we could have actually come.
You know Riley, you've had,
Yeah.
you know Riley, obviously. Been on the show twice. He and his brother are 13 months apart.
Yeah.
Is it me and my brother are? And my parents are old. My
Yeah.
dad's 78.
Okay.
And so dad had me in his 40s.
Wow.
And then my mom was 7 years younger than him. So like they were like, there's no way we're having kids. And then they had me. And then they were like, well, there's no way we're having kids. And then they had my little brother.
Dang.
And then,
I went to school with a brother and sister that are what they call Irish twins.
Yep.
They have the same birthday and a year apart.
Wow.
And I was like, dang, I don't know about that. But so our third one ended up being a boy. And we used to get the comments in grocery stores like, oh, good, you got your boy, your family's complete. And I was like,
we ain't playing this.
I don't necessarily know that my family was complete
because of that.
because of
Yeah.
him.
Right.
He ended up being one of the best things to happen for my wife because she had not fully recovered physically from having our middle daughter. And, we look back on it now and there were definitely some signs that we probably should have gotten her to see somebody about postpartum stuff.
Yeah.
But because she was then pregnant again,
you
didn't know.
Hormones,
you're
boy.
like, yeah, is it the hormones bringing you down because of the postpartum stuff? Is it hormones because you're pregnant?
Yeah.
That's all the above.
You're
right?
thinking right, and that's kind of was like it's all the above.
Yeah.
So those kind of comments were really aggravating about, oh, you got your son.
Yeah.
Oh, your family's complete now. We're like, I was pretty happy with my two daughters
Right.
because I have a huge responsibility with them too.
Right.
And so, I was like, I got a boy now. I know nothing except that we're getting ready to be wrestling in like 4 years until he's out of the house.
Be a little bit gentler with him, or less gentle.
Wrestling physically and emotionally.
And emotionally, right?
Yeah.
But the girls, I was like, I'm pretty well on cruise control with girls in this stage.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun when something like that happens on shift and there's nothing you can do?
Absolutely nothing.
Like you get stuck with a problem on shift and it's like, well, there goes my day.
Yeah. So it's, it's not been that long ago. My wife would be like, we're on our way to see you. And, you're having to deal with life and discipline and stuff, talking with kids. And because mom is not going to be labeled the bad guy because she's the only one home with them during those 24 hours.
Is it a lot of wait till your dad gets home?
It can be. But what ends up happening now, mine are all school age.
Right.
So by the time I get home, if I'm not walking in the door, getting them to the school or whatever, they're already gone.
Yeah.
And so like, I'll wait until you guys get home and just twiddle my thumbs all day.
Yeah.
Steaming on it. Fuming. Just,
These kids.
I've thought about it all day long.
Yeah. You're going to get the belt now.
So it's being a parent is definitely one of those patience and emotional tests as a Christ follower, because that's what you're supposed to be as the leader.
It's hard.
Oh, it's so hard. And
even dealing with like our nephew, it's been more difficult. Like you were saying, like it's trying and it's patience and all that stuff where you're like, gosh, like one thing that I've struggled with recently is like, am I doing a good job?
yeah.
Like, cause some days it's just like, man, I'm tired. I'm beat down. I just worked 24-hour shifts. Sometimes I worked a 48-hour shift. I come home and then you're like, okay, I have to make sure that he stays alive. But other than that, I don't know if I can do much.
I watch a lot of Joe Rogan's podcasts, and he has like smart people on there a lot of times. So there's a child psychologist on there within the past like 6 months that wrote a whole book and a study about basically the difference between, so like if you're a bad parent or just a decent parent, there's a huge gap. But the gap between decent parent and fantastic parent is like, as
really
far as
small.
like how the kid ends up
Right.
is not that big. Not saying don't be a great parent, but like,
Just worry about being good.
well, but the there's diminishing returns on difference between being like a good parent and a great parent. And so like if you're, as long as like just don't neglect them pretty much.
Well, and that's
you're pretty much
me and Meg,
end
we
up
were
okay.
talking about it last night when I was at the station, and it blows my mind how you can feel like you did such a horrible job of being a parent the day before, and the kid wakes up and it's like, hey, you ready to play today?
Amazing.
And it's like, geez, like and what I told Meg last night is I was like, no matter what we do the next morning, he still loves us. So
It's like a puppy.
yeah,
kind of.
pretty much.
Kind of, yeah.
Like because they're
Until
not
it
an
gets to a
adult.
certain age.
But like if
Right.
you treat an adult
Yeah.
that same way, they're like still mad.
Yeah.
the next
If you
day.
spank an adult,
unwanted spanking.
Unwanted spanking.
Yeah.
It doesn't end up the same way. But
yeah.
And so
I've had to apologize to my kids multiple times,
Yeah.
that,
how
like,
terrible, not terrible, but like how humbling is that to
oh,
like apologize to a
my
child?
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you ask for forgiveness from
Right,
a 4-year-old. Just like, I'm sorry, I lost my cool. It should
Yeah.
not have happened.
Yeah.
And
I'm not there yet.
Well, we were
you are.
riding our bikes because we were like almost every day we ride our bikes to up to the school and do laps around the track or whatever. And there was one day that I just thought he was being like a difficult kid that day. And he was like,
those days.
yeah, there are those days where he was like, I don't feel like pedaling my bike, or like I can't make it up this hill or whatever. And we're going, and like every day we do the same route.
Right.
And this day he's going up the hill. He's like, I can't push the bike up the hill and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bro, you do this every day. Like, what? Stop. You know, you're gonna be fine.
Right.
And then we get to this second hill, and he's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, all right, I guess we're just gonna turn around. Like, if you can't do it, we'll just turn. And he like got off the bike, and started just crying on the side of the road. But I also noticed that the bike was on an incline and didn't move when he got off the bike. And I know that his brakes were engaged the entire time.
Oh man.
And so as an adult, you're like,
crap.
God,
I
have
one
failed
better.
you.
I got one better.
oh gosh.
So our oldest one, she
Here,
was
hold my
probably
beer.
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were staying up and we watched. So we had our middle one at that time because they're 3.5 years apart, and we heard a crash out of the bedroom. She had already gone to bed, and we were running in there. She had fallen out of bed.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, you okay? Okay. She's like, yeah, I just kind of hurt where I landed. We're like, yeah, I bet you fell out of bed.
Yeah.
But we weren't one that had one of those 5-foot beds
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a kid. She might have fallen a foot, 2 foot. But for the next few days, she was like, oh, it's hurting to put my t-shirt on. Mom would have to help. She's like, just raise your arm up. About 3.5 days later, she was in like a tank top or something, and I was like, why is your like shoulder like green and stuff? We're like, maybe we need to take her to the doctor. Take her to the doctor. She had fractured her collarbone in the fall. We're about a week into this now.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, well, yeah, she has a broken collarbone, but there's nothing we can really do for that.
Yeah.
One, for anybody, and
You
two,
just put
especially
the
a
arm
kid.
on.
Yeah,
That's all you do.
it.
Yeah.
So he said we can get you a sling, or prescribe you a sling. You go here and pick it up. They didn't have any small enough for a 5-year-old, so she's in this tiny little, the extra small they had, and it's
Engulfed her.
just engulfed her. Yeah,
Yeah.
You got to wrap her twice with the body part and
Yeah.
then Velcro it down. But we're both like, we're horrible
Yeah.
parents, because she was saying her arm hurt to
Yeah.
lift it up. And we're
You're
like,
just like, stop being a pansy.
Yeah, just put your arm up.
Yeah.
Put your sleeve on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but it hurts.
Stop
And we're
being
like,
difficult.
I bet it did.
Yeah.
You fell out of bed.
Yeah.
And
She's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's tough.
Yeah.
And then the other two came along, and they're, I fell off my bike. It's scratched. I need a Band-Aid. No, you're good. It's not even bleeding anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Suck it up.
Ask your sister.
yeah. Yeah. You don't hear what pain is.
Tell her about it.
Yeah. Well, I had a situation with my parents. I just now remembered that one night we were all like sitting around in the living room, and I went to stand up, and I heard a pop in my leg. It was like excruciating, like automatically, just like I can't stand up. I can't do anything. And my mom's like, stop being like, just stop. And I'm like crying.
Yeah.
And she's like, stop it.
All you did
Go
was
to
stand
bed. Yeah. All you do is stand up.
Was this last Christmas?
Yeah. This was last Christmas. This was yesterday.
Yes, sir.
But turns out I had my like a tendon in my leg. I'd torn a tendon in my leg standing up, and like she
hard
was
can you
like
stand up?
pretty hard.
How soft are them tendons?
They were. I would imagine they'd be pretty soft at like I was like 12 or something, and just like I was sitting Indian style, and then just went
Doing
like
a super
that. I
soft
guess
birthday party for him
Just,
next year.
ooh, yeah, super soft. Yeah, super soft birthday party. Yeah.
I tell you what, if Jason's ever being unruly at the house, I'll tell you what you can do with him to get some energy out. Because when he spent the night with us this past weekend, I don't know what I'd have done without this game we made up. So get that beanbag chair, bring it close to the couch, kick this thing out, and just put a pillow on the floor. And then you can sit on your phone, you can be watching TV, and you just tell him what to jump to. And he just that's all.
Jump to the pillow, jump to the.
So I'd go couch, and he'd jump on the couch, and then I'd say the other couch, which is the ottoman. I'd say other couch, and he'd jump there. Say beanbag, and he'd jump to the beanbag. I'd say floor, and he'd roll off the beanbag into the floor. And he was with us for 24 hours. We
Yeah.
did it for 18 hours.
That's what he'll get on
And that
this
was
table
that's all he wanted to do.
and take off
fantastic.
running at the end of this table and jump onto that beanbag chair
Yeah.
just like all day.
I love it.
It'd tire him out too, though.
Yeah. Well, we did for the first time. He wanted to wrestle for the first time the other day,
Oh.
and we got to wrestling.
Did you show him who's boss?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I was
hope so.
DDTing him
Yeah.
and Tombstone and all that other stuff. But yeah, he was
5-star frog splash.
That tired him out
Off the
pretty good.
couch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
It
It tire
was-
you out too.
it tired me.
I
out.
bet.
I got tired before he did. Honestly,
It
like, no,
happens
I'm
so
done.
much sooner anymore. It
Yeah.
happens so much sooner.
it's yeah.
I tell everybody, like, as a parent, you just have to accept the fact that you know, sneakers are your way of life, because my kids don't walk anywhere. Still, like, you have to basically
yeah.
like you're holding on to them, and you know they got parents that are like, they put leashes on their kids to kind of keep them near them.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, I don't think they need a leash per se. My brother did as a
Really?
growing up. Yeah, he would just disappear and be gone, but he wasn't being bad. He would just, ooh, sweet,
Just where he's
like,
going.
Yeah, he wanted
Yeah.
to look at that, and,
Yeah.
and so I was like, I don't want to put anybody in a leash, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I have two of them that the two youngest would
Yeah.
like race each other. As soon as one
Well,
start running,
yeah.
the other one's like, I'm behind, and you can race faster. And you know, by the time you catch up, you're blocked down the
Yeah.
street, and you're like, oh, hang on,
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
just stand right there.
And they outnumber you too, so there's you can't
Absolutely.
like
yeah,
And if they split off, you
yeah.
we're in zone
Pick your
defense
favorite.
With three.
pick your
Absolutely.
favorite. Yeah. If they start running down the side of a hill,
Yeah.
which one do I like more?
You know what? Being a paramedic, I'll just wait till they're at the bottom, and I'll go down there and we'll triage. We'll start doing
Triage.
practice our triage.
Yeah.
there.
All right. You have the highest chance of survival.
Right,
So,
right. You just need a Band-Aid and maybe a splint.
Yeah.
You're bleeding. Let's
Yeah.
stop that.
or if
Speaking
you're
of-
Josh, you just say you both need 4x4s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of Band-Aids and stuff, me and you have talked about first aid kits.
Yeah.
And like
You said you're gonna make me one. I got you the fanny pack for it, and you didn't make me one.
you got me the fanny pack for it.
No,
I didn't
you
make
said get the bag,
Yeah.
get the kit, the little thing, and I'll fill it.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Well, did you tell me?
Yes,
No.
I brought it.
No. Anyways.
Oh, Mr. 4x4 over there.
Anyways, we have discussed. I think that like commercial grade, like go to Walmart, go to Sam's, and get a first aid kit from there. They're useless almost.
Oh, they have.
If you're a firefighter, yeah. If you're taking it to a scene,
Well,
yeah.
but
If you're at
that's
the
what you use a
house-
first aid kit for,
Yeah.
in my
first
opinion.
aid. We've got one in my wife's car that I bought, I think, when we first got married.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those, I'll buy this first aid kit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the medication that comes in those, they come with so many things that can be used in all different avenues. And that's kind of even our medical bags on the trucks. We carry so much to approach various
Yeah.
situations. But those first aid kits like that, all those medications expired a
Yeah.
decade ago. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
that. Well, now I just wasted Tylenol and all that
Yeah.
stuff. That
Here, take this
stinks.
green Tylenol.
I've
Yeah.
got 6 burn creams.
Yeah.
If I need 6 burn creams, we need to go to the hospital.
I will say,
Dry sterile dressing.
I was a Boy Scout growing up and stuff, and I honestly believe that I would use a triangular bandage way more in my life than I ever have.
Yeah.
I think I've applied 2.
Really?
Yeah, and I've you know,
Really? A triangle band? Well, so I've used triangle bandages more for slings.
no,
making
absolutely.
a sling.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah, as far as like actually, so it's
Oh,
yeah.
I was about to say,
So
so
this-
triangle
am I
bandage
supposed
is
to know
just
what a triangle bandage
so
is?
like context clues.
It ends
for
up being
triangle
like a
I
bandage.
get that
bandana.
it's I get that it's a triangle.
Shh, don't tell them. No, so like a triangle bandage, when you open it all the way up, is a square, but you fold it in half and
It's a
from corner to
bandana.
corner. It's like it looks like a
Okay.
bandana. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you use
Bigger.
it more for slings, and I promise you, as much as they drill into you, like how important it is to be
Yeah.
able to place it properly to hold someone's injured arm. I've used it. I can count on one hand the
Yeah.
number of times, and that and you're using 2 at a time because you're gonna put a splint if it's a forearm or injury or something. You're gonna use one to wrap the splint with, tie it down, and then you're gonna use the other one as the sling for it to hold in.
Yeah.
And gosh, I was really disappointed getting into the medical field. Like, I don't use the triangular bandages.
Are they used for
anymore.
anything else? Is that their
No,
primary
not really.
purpose?
Yeah, it is
You
their
just
primary
wrap
purpose.
something
But
up
I was
there.
like, man, we got a lot of
Yeah.
arm injuries happening. But no,
Yeah.
I'll say in the years that I've worked at Tuscaloosa, I've probably put 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean,
Now I've used like
One a year.
roller gauze or rolled gauze. I use that like crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
head injuries. That's a leg injury. That's
slap
light.
a 4x4 on there, and
Yeah.
then they're
Yeah, no, you do.
I'm a big 4x4 guy.
Wad of the 4x4s
Yeah.
on the injury.
Sew a bunch of 4x4s together and make a blanket for somebody.
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
quilting. That's going to be our next
That's a
Yeah.
big one.
Band-Aids. I've
4x4 gauze quilts.
since being a firefighter, I don't think we have a Band-Aid in the house because I just use 4x4s and tape because it's
Well, I tell you,
so much more convenient.
Kids will. Oh, it's so much more convenient for the
Yeah.
4x4 and tape. But a Band-Aid for a kid
Oh,
is
yeah.
like the fix all.
yeah.
And I've
Or a
my
kiss.
or kids. I should have bought stock in
Band-Aid.
Johnson and Johnson,
Yeah.
Curate, and all those other Band-Aid companies because we've gone through so many at my house.
Oh yeah.
I started buying like tackle boxes, and I'd get the giant variety packs, and
Just
I'm like,
stuffing
just go to town.
Yeah,
I don't
just
even-
whatever you need.
Yeah, I have slight OCD, and I say slight because I can walk in a room and if it's cluttered, I can live with it, whatever
Yeah.
kind of deal. But when it comes to like, I'm gonna organize these Band-Aids from biggest to
It's gonna-
smallest, colors,
Yeah.
They're gonna be turned all the same
waterproofing, flex,
direction.
fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I'm gonna have the label there too because if you come to the house, I can say, here's the pick what you want.
Yeah.
You'll know.
Or if you need one,
Right.
like, and
Yeah.
you get, hey, 12-year-old,
Yeah.
go get the da 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 da. She's
Yeah.
not gonna bring you like a wash rag or something.
Right. I have no problem wearing Mickey Mouse or
Yeah.
some sort of themed Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in fact, I start carrying Hello Kitty Band-Aids in my wallet because it's usually guys that need Band-Aids.
That's
And
funny.
you're like, oh, I have a Band-Aid
Got
here for
one.
my
Here you
kids.
go. Yeah.
So they have to wear pink or
There
Hello
you
Kitty
go.
Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
I weird them out at the chiropractor. I went yesterday again, and
they didn't know bones could get that big.
right, they didn't realize. No, it was a new guy that got you into the therapy with the massage chair and the water table, and then that stem pads. Those are my favorite things.
Yeah, those
stem
are funny.
pads.
You could put me on a rock, sit there, but if you put those stem pads on me, I'm a happy little clam. And I max it out nearly every time.
Really?
And in fact, I had one time I was like, I'm hurting, keep it going. And they're tapping the button. And I looked over and they were at 37. Technically, like 25 is where they're supposed to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm super glad I found the few that will go past that
Yeah.
for me because 25 I don't feel still. And so
Muscles are too big.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's what it is. No, that's
After the army put you in that machine that turned you into a superhero. 25
Yeah.
No,
doesn't
don't
cut
turn
it
it
anymore.
off.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
Keep
old
it
Steve
going.
Rogers.
It actually the machine dropped it back from that 37
It
down
pulled
to
it
the 30.
off?
It said this is way too high, like levels too high. But the guy was tapping it up, and he's like, "Man, you sure?" I was like, keep going." I was like, "All right, right there's good." He goes, "Man, that's past where I'm supposed to have it." I was like, "I won't tell if you won't."
We would get those things in high school and like put one on your forearm and put one on your bicep and just immediately turn it.
Oh yeah,
And it would curl your arm up like this.
We'd
and
do
you
that.
couldn't uncurl it.
We'd do
It's-
that with your face though.
yeah.
Where you're just like,
I want to get a taser for me and Josh, and if like one of us cusses,
Oh.
you get tased
You-
on the podcast, and
You
he
need a
won't do
stun
it.
gun.
He won't do it.
Stun gun.
He won't do it.
Taser has barbs and they shoot out and they
Oh, well,
latch into your skin.
I don't want to do anything that has electricity running through my body. I don't want to be a part of it.
Have you ever been hit with a stun gun?
I have been. I have gotten some shocks from some electrical jobs that I've done
Yeah,
off the books,
yeah,
and knowing how that feels versus something that's supposed to hurt you.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want
It's
any part of
different.
it.
You ever hit a boat dock ladder when
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a line in the water somewhere?
Yeah.
yeah.
That kills
that
people.
shot.
though.
That does
But
kill people.
we had one at, oh gosh, I was little, but you could like hold it and you could feel it,
Yeah.
like a 9-volt battery on your tongue. Or
There was a summer camp I worked at, and when we were in the little shop at, and the kids could buy candy bars or whatever. They had an old fridge that would do that. If you grabbed it in a certain spot on the handle to open it, you're like, Just like, okay, I got it. It was weird because it was out near the end. If you grabbed it closer to the machine, like it would open no problem.
Yeah.
But you got there, I guess
Had to get grounded
grip
out.
on the back was gone. So you get in there. Come feel it. Come grab this.
Yeah.
Hey, reach me in there and get me a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Get all the new campers to go back there.
Yeah.
Grab one of them in the back.
Absolutely.
And so you said during the tornado, so like 2012, 2013, or 2011.
It was 11.
2011. Y'all lived out near Coker?
No, we lived near County High, but that first
okay.
one came through the Coker area, was headed
Got you.
northeast.
Got you. Are y'all still out there?
Mm-hmm. We're
Okay.
still in the same house.
So that morning of, like you were talking about the morning of, I remember I was working at the church at the time, and one of the pastors had to go to the airport early that morning.
I got you.
And so they were like, before we left the house, they were like, hey, y'all be careful. I was like, whatever. So I drove in Birmingham, and as we were coming back through was when that initial line of storms was coming through. And I was in like an old, like, was it a Mercury Cougar?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was
the redos that they came out with a while back.
Yeah, I was in one of them, and I had my foot to the floor on the interstate and was not going over 40 miles because the wind
Yes.
from
pushing
it
you
was
so
like
hard.
straight line winds. It was pushing me. I had my foot to the floor, and I was just going 40 miles an hour.
So yeah, after that that happened, you know, I drove once it was kind of safe to drive the streets, not because they were dangerous or anything, but crews had gotten in and kind of cleaned it up, and you could get places. I was driving my family around to show what happened, and you'd see just slabs, or there would be a house gone except a closet.
Yeah.
And my wife said, I will never not get to the shelter if it's something like that, because she said we were in a closet.
Yeah.
And there's no closets there, because she said, we will go. So
The craziest transformation to me was Hargrove Road. Like when you come in that curve where it was just a grove of trees.
right.
And then now you go through and it's
You
nothing.
can
Well, that
nearly
whole-
see
the-
to the,
the,
backside of Midtown.
What's the little lake there?
Northwood Lake.
Yeah.
That was full of like lower income housing. No, or just older houses.
It was older houses.
Older
yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
See,
But now they're
And it was
like mansions
flat,
now.
man. Yeah, it was flat.
we actually knew a family that lived there, and their house was destroyed, and it was going to cost them as much as a house to just even like maintain that property,
Really?
because
Yeah.
the appreciation or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Right. Everything around there appreciated like crazy.
And they're like, we can't do that. So they, they got out of that. I don't know all the steps that they took, sold the property or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they moved somewhere else, and it was heartbreaking because so we love this area.
Yeah.
But they couldn't keep it going.
That-
We did have a couple guys. It wasn't me personally, but a couple guys I worked with at the time. They were out with the search and rescue teams, and they had a lady come up, and she said, "Oh, I heard when they drained Forest Lake that they found like 6 bodies."
There was a bunch of those stories.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
There were a
and that
bunch
was
on top
2
of the
days
mall.
ago. And if anybody's
Wow.
ever driven 15th Street past Northwood Lake, or not Northwood Lake, whatever, Forest,
Yeah.
it's not a tiny little pond. Like it's
Yeah,
Right.
it's a big
small.
old
It's
lake.
got-
And
yeah.
and the 2 guys, we're firemen, so we have kind of a spin-off comic relief, as we say.
Right.
They're like, "Oh yes, ma'am. Now we're refilling it because there just happened to be a garden hose nearby running into the water area." And he said, "Yeah, we're about got it filled back up."
Yeah.
We about got it filled back up.
Yeah. But there were all kind of those stories that they found like 11 bodies on top
Yeah.
of the mall.
Yes, yeah,
And stuff like that. But
Be a
None were
fish
true.
from Forest Lake,
Well, so-
Sharknado style.
one of my buddies, this is true because I've seen the mail.
Yeah. Yeah.
We lived off of Skyland,
Okay.
and I got stuck in Northport for 3 days
Oh, okay.
when it happened because I was on
You didn't have a car?
on this side of the river. No, I was in my vehicle, but I couldn't get back over here. It was crazy. I was literally I stayed over on this side of the river for a couple of days because I couldn't get back. But we lived off of Skyland, and his grandparents live in Atlanta,
Okay.
and they had Tuscaloosa mail in their yard.
I believe
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Not even kidding.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
of-
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
That's wind right there, boy. That's
Yes.
crazy.
Well, they were saying with that, storm. You know, we had the tornado, but people around here were getting like Mississippi stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. That's one of the craziest things to me was they said it picked up a house and like moved it down the street, which I don't know if that was true either.
Yeah.
I heard.
I saw many that were moved off their foundation.
Yeah. Which is
kinda
even
near-
in
like,
itself
that's crazy.
is crazy. Yeah.
And obviously I saw slabs, so the house went somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big pile.
there's-
Yeah.
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 You know, they say, so what was it? In Missouri, they had one like the next week
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
similar. And they rebuilt the town in like a year.
Right.
And we still have some stuff here that hasn't been fixed since then.
Yeah.
And they said, like you said, the appreciation,
Yeah.
when it cleared out all that around 15th Street.
Well, like Alberta. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even I saw that Habitat for Humanity was just able to give that first house since COVID kind of hit.
really.
Yeah, they because of the restrictions and stuff, they haven't been able to be face to face with the people they could get the houses to and stuff or be around and things. But we actually helped with a couple builds. The Tuscaloosa Fire Department did, and that was a lot of fun. But programs like that they can't do but one or two at a time,
Right.
and so
Probably don't have the funding to do a
Right.
ton of stuff either.
Like that gas station on the corner of McFarland and 15th that's still there.
Oh yeah.
Is that because I've been told that's because the gas lines broke and just was saturated with
see, I don't
gas.
know how though.
I
They're
don't
all
know.
underground.
And they said it's just that like if you wanted to develop that land, you'd have to dig down and
like
get
remove it
rid of
all.
all of that.
But so if they knew about that, the EPA would have made them dig that up. The EPA would have made them dig that up as soon as they knew
then why
that
is
was
that
an
property
issue.
just an abandoned gas station still? That
Probably
was
like some
9
of the
years
properties
ago.
downtown have just now started showing signs that they're getting removed.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting removed because they're kind of an eyesore kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those like, how did it go so long? People that own it were like, I'll
Because you
I'm
got to
not
think if
selling
somebody
them.
threw a gas station right there, that'd be the hoppingest gas
Well,
station.
there's no gas station between there and almost the interstate either.
Yeah.
And if you go,
There's
if you,
that Chevron right there at Hargrove.
just
and
the
the
two,
Murphy.
the one, the new ones, the
Oh,
new one and the
so
Circle K or whatever.
I'm talking about 82.
Yeah, we are too.
But yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than those
Oh,
two,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
not.
No.
Yeah. And
There's
you go all
some
the
down
way
towards
back
like
to
Crunch
Buddy's.
Fitness and McFarland.
Yeah.
But like on 15th, you have that new one that's by like McDonald's,
Yeah. Sprint.
and that's
One of
the
the
only
Sprint
gas
ones.
station
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, on 15th, there's nothing on 15th.
Yeah.
You got to go back
Except
the
that
other
one,
way
yeah.
to get to
Over
Kicker.
towards my house to get to some of those. There's a couple
Yeah.
right there. But if you threw anything up on the intersection of McFarland and 15th, but I bet that property's just
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's probably priced itself
you'd
out
have
of
to
being
have Zuckerberg come
usable.
up and pay for
Yeah.
it. There's not
yeah,
Absolutely.
Elon Musk come put a rocket
A
building right
pad.
there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Tesla charging station.
There
So
you
you
go.
and the other 3 people in the whole county that have Teslas would
fine.
be able to charge
I
up.
use the fire out of it too.
Yeah.
Good. Absolutely.
Oh, man, is there anything you want to talk about that we didn't get to? Or
I mean, I don't think so. I was just kind of coming along for the conversations.
yeah,
That's what
we'll
we're here for.
Oh, we saw this last week. So obviously, Alabama's our biggest state for audience views.
Yeah, I would say
it is,
so.
yeah, it for sure.
It is,
Like,
yeah.
statistically.
By
I don't.
far,
I don't see the numbers, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to agree with you.
I don't either.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just going off what
Yeah.
he said. But
Well, he just shows up every week and that's it.
pretty much,
So,
I'm the talent.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
The number 2 state is Oregon.
Oregon.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm gonna ride that pony. Oregon, thank you. We love
Yeah.
you. It was great.
We love
Hope
it.
you
That's
like
pretty
this one.
sweet.
Other than Portland.
Other than Portland.
can kick rocks.
Unless the people that watch it in Oregon are from Portland, keep on watching. We love
Not
Portland.
kick rocks.
But keep watching.
Yeah. You want to talk about the city coming after you?
The city, the great city government. Government's great.
Somebody came and
They
complained.
came and hassled us over our trash can.
Yeah.
What's
The
wrong
one
with
they
your
made
trash
me
can?
have. If it's ugly, it's their fault because it's
Right.
the ones they gave me. and force me to pay $28 a month
Well,
for
I'm
it.
asking. We got neighbors that have like burned holes in the side of theirs, and nobody says anything.
No, they're not.
We're in Northport too, though.
Well, true,
Oh,
true,
that's
but I
true.
still have
Are
to
y'all's
have
blue?
Yeah.
No, we've got a green one
Oh, they're all green.
in our neighborhood.
Yeah, we have
Mine
some.
should be by the road right now, so
Yeah, you
whatever
better
color
watch
it is.
out.
Nah,
Somebody
it's-
from the city's gonna come up and hassle
my
you.
trash can's been on the road for 2 months.
Ours has been on the road since we moved into that house a year and a half ago.
I
And-
got to the point where we were missing trash day so much that I said,
That's the same thing. I was
Well,
tired of
never
pulling
gonna-
out there on
Yeah.
Tuesday nights for Wednesday morning, so we just left it out there, and I hold the trash bag out of my truck window, and then when I
Sweet.
get to it, I drop it into the back on my way out.
So what's his complaint that came down?
Somebody from the city who was in a
What was that?
bad mood.
that it's left out there,
That
or
it's,
that
it's you can't leave it on the curb. You can pull it back 3 feet, but you can't leave it on the curb. Thank God.
will they pick it up if it's 3 feet away from the curb?
I don't think so. So you have to maneuver it on Wednesday morning. But if you want to leave it, if you don't want to put it up in your garage or your carport or up against your house, because
Yeah.
everybody loves stinky trash and flies right by their house,
right by, yeah.
you better have it 3 feet away from the curb and then 3 feet away from like any road signs or power lines or any power poles.
Yeah.
And so we have a bush that's like 3.5 feet from our curb, and I put it right there.
Fair.
And if they come back, I'm gonna pull up the code, tell him to
Say.
go back to the office.
Well, see, they got some homeowners associations that you've got to have it
Oh, my
hidden.
gosh.
You got to put it behind like a fence wall. Thank
When-
God I don't have any
Yeah.
of those because I don't have a spot that I could put it. Like
When we were looking for houses, that was one of the things on my list was no HOA.
Yes.
I do not want to have
you
an
want to
HOA.
pay dues for an extra layer of government, basically. But like,
Well, that's when I lived at the house before this one, and they would come at like I changed my rotors out on my truck one day, and I put them beside the house. And rotors aren't like they're not sticking way up out of the ground.
there's,
no,
I got
yeah.
2 sitting beside my house
Well, they
right
were
now.
sitting just right beside the house. The grass was a little bit tall, so it was kind of covered up. That night, changed my rotors out. The next morning, got an email
wow.
said, "Hey, you need to clean that trash up next to your house."
Yeah,
Who's going around and checking every single house
Some
and
old
looking for
lady.
stuff?
Yeah.
because that's who we think we've figured out who's doing it. Who's
Was it that
calling in all
progressive
these
commercial
complaints.
out right now that they're like, so we see you've met the chairman of the HOA.
Oh, yeah, the HOA
And she's
one.
like, it's out of regulation. She's like cutting the mailbox
Yeah.
off. Too close to the curb.
Too close.
Dude, it's about like that
Thanks.
somewheres. Some
I would-
places. It's
I would kick someone in the chest
Yeah.
so
yeah.
hard.
And you pay them
Yeah, you
to
pay
tell
them.
you what to do.
Yeah.
Well, they keep the street clean or something. I don't know.
No, we have like a lake association in our neighborhood.
Are you at Northwood Lake?
Carrollwood Lake.
Oh, okay. I don't know where that's at.
Or,
Should
I
be
guess
out
the
by County
neighborhood.
High, right?
It's
Are
just
you
off.
like middle area? Or?
Yeah.
So the lake association, they just take care of the lake, or what
Yeah,
do they
pretty
do?
much.
They stock it with fish or anything.
They make sure it's stocked. They'll have.
Can you fish
someone.
in it?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
That's part.
If you're
of,
a resident,
Can you request a certain type of fish? Like
Nah,
hey, I
you
want to
can't
get a
be like, I
shark
wanna
in here
try
this
that.
week.
No, that'd be nice. Maybe that's the next level of membership.
Yeah, you got to get the elite package.
But when you give that, they give you. We used to get like 6 passes, but we had some people abusing that, and so we get 2 or whatever, so you can have guests and whatever come fish
on the
it
lake.
On the lake. But anyway, in the neighborhood can kind of throw in and get
Yeah.
those passes. But that's basically what it is. It's just so I don't have to go get a fishing license if I fish only my lake
Oh, that's
That
or
ain't
nice.
our lake,
Yeah.
not mine.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
you're probably
'Cause
not allowed
it's
to call
usually-
it yours.
No.
That's in the rules.
I'm
Usually
pretty proud of it though.
you only need a fishing license when yours expires.
Right.
Like the day that yours expires is like, oh, I need to go fishing again.
Yeah. Or the day after.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
oh.
Gosh, dang it. Now I gotta go get one of these things. But yeah.
Dang, I can't believe we've done 24 of these.
I can't either.
It's been a lot.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
I told you guys when we got it started, I'm chugging along, and I would love to be more into podcasts, but I don't have a long drive into work. I don't
Right.
have, with the COVID shutdown, I had my 3 kids and wife at home. She's a teacher, so
How
wow.
relieved were you when they went back to school?
I can't say relieved. I did enjoy the time that we had.
Yeah.
But yesterday
also-
was kind of the first time that I was home and they
Yeah.
were all gone. And I was like, okay, yeah, this feels normal.
Yeah.
Not because I love my alone time, but knowing that things are trying to
Get back to
push
normal.
back to
Yeah.
what they're supposed to be. I won't even say normal, but what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That it's been nice.
Well,
But
when I went to go drop Jason off for his first day of kindergarten, parents were like crying and all this other stuff, and I was like,
You're crying the other way.
"Yeah, I was
Like on
crying
your way
tears of
out, you're
joy.
crying, like,
I get a day alone, day by
joyful.
myself.
Yes.
I can get something done."
And that's
But-
kind of been the thing is I'd come home and, you'd want to work on something, but, then your kid wants to
Yeah.
play Legos
Yeah.
and that's the hardest part about being a parent of kids that are a little bit older is you want to interact with them that way.
Yeah,
But you also are a responsible homeowner and you got things to do. Your husband
An
is
adult.
getting the
Yeah.
honeydew list. If that grass isn't getting any shorter because somebody else is cutting it.
that's why I just pay Willie to do mine.
That'd be I like cutting grass though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
It's
when I-
therapeutic.
Absolutely hate
Look,
it.
when I first got started at the fire department, I was like, "So you going to start cutting grass like a lot of guys do?" And I said, "No, because then I'll hate it.
Yeah,
Because then it's a job. Now
Yeah.
it's a task
Keep
that I
it a
can look
hobby.
forward to
I hate
every
cutting
other
grass.
week. Every week at most during a small season, and I can pretty much be ready to. If I don't want to weed eat this week, guess what? I don't have to weed
Yeah.
eat this
Yeah.
week. Who's going to gripe at me? Me?
Yeah.
You didn't recognize. You didn't
Yeah.
realize it.
yeah.
But no, it's and when I'm cutting grass or when I'm working out, some people are like, "Yeah, I'll get on the treadmill and listen to podcasts," and that's not me. I love music.
Yeah.
For those kind of activities. But I'm changing. I'm working on it. Because
I got some good ones I can send your way.
Because I'm going to be. I'm already a day behind almost.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll get you caught up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Figure
We'll
it
give you
out.
the highlights.
I have
Josh talks about farting and goobers,
That's what keeps me here.
And
by
That's
the
what
way.
keeps me here.
and I rail
Farts and the
about,
goobers.
Yeah, I rail about the government.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we do.
Yeah.
That's all we're. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got drawn in because Josh and I would have good conversations when we worked together. And then he's like, "Yeah, Lee's got the Cheese Louise truck." And my wife was like, "I love grilled cheese. So I need to get in good today." I'm like, "I don't know how I can do in the little bit of time we'll have." But,
Yeah. We'll work on it. Then.
I also like food. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, this is my group right here."
Yeah. And that's what kind of birthed the podcast is we'd sit around and have conversations and we'd be like, somebody might want to listen to this.
We want it. Well, we always made people laugh when they'd be like listening to us talk. They're like, "Let's just talk, but with a camera on us."
Yeah.
But not act like we're talking to people, but just like record what we say. It's been good so far. It's been
Yeah.
fun.
It's fun.
We've had some good guests on.
Yeah.
Not as handsome as you, so that's
I don't know.
top of the
Well,
list now.
I can't even admit that. Like,
You don't have
Can't
to.
admit that.
no, because I listen to the podcast. I
yeah.
don't watch it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the change for me. Like, we're talking about different shows. I can't podcast and watch something.
At the same time.
Look, guy, like I can't
Yeah.
multitask.
yeah.
And that was one of the things my wife and I'll not have arguments over. That's one of our discussions. We'll start a project and it might involve, ripping this wall down. Well, she's already telling me about like how we're going to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I need
trying
to rip
Let's
this
get
thing
down to
down.
the studs first. How about
Yeah.
that?
let me get something back up here and then
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
talk about the finishing tactics. Or she'll start leaving that wall and go into the hallway.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why do you look at me like that?" I'm like, "Because if I get off the mindset of the first project, I'll
Yeah.
never get back."
Yeah.
We'll throw a tarp up over
Well,
it.
Yeah.
we do the same thing, except Meg will start talking about something and I'll be working on whatever that is. And then she'll start talking about something else. And then I'm just like, "Hey, let me finish this."
Right.
Because I do not know what you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I
can't
cannot
multitask.
multitask
No.
like that because I said, what's going to happen now is you need to write all this down because when you say, "What do you think about my idea that we talked about?"
Yeah.
I'm going to look at you.
You're gonna get mad
weird,
because
and
I
you're
don't
gonna get mad.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was still
You're
trying to figure
setting me
out.
up for you to get mad at me.
Right.
And that's marriage.
Yeah, and that's marriage.
In
We've
a
had
nutshell.
15 years together married. so
Wow.
it's like,
Congratulations.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
I barely made it in one.
We just celebrated 4 last week.
That's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome.
I was just kidding.
Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love my wife.
I've said this over and over that if something were to ever happen to either one of us, or if anything were to happen to her, I'm probably not getting married again.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine said statistically, if you have a good marriage, you're more likely
Yeah.
to get married a second time
duh.
after, like,
That's fair.
if
'Cause
somebody
you think
passes
you'll do
away
it
or
again.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't want to test that theory.
I don't
Yeah.
either. I don't
myself.
I don't,
I don't
want
like
to test
thinking
it,
about
but
it.
if it,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'd just be single.
I do. I had a short time where I was like, you know what? The Amish have it. Like,
Yeah.
I am going off grid,
Yeah.
off anything,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna live on a mountain and be a hermit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm out.
like some of the trips I've looked in Montana, where it's like you get on a horse for 4 days and you go up the mountains and just
Right.
fly fish along the way. Man.
Because if you don't, you don't eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you pack it in.
That would be,
That's such a heavy backpack.
yeah. Well, you got a horse though. So,
But the horse has to carry it too.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
Look, I'm a big guy. I have
Yeah.
always felt bad
You
for
need
a
2
the horse.
horses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need a horse and a
A
mule.
chariot
a chariot.
up the mountain.
I don't know if that
Tonto
would-
riding that little
Yeah.
mule trying to catch the Lone Ranger.
But
Oh, man. It was great to have you on.
yeah,
That was cool.
Appreciate you
Yeah.
coming on and hanging out with
We
us.
had an
and-
adult on.
Yeah, that is. Well,
Have we not? Corey was.
Is he that? He hadn't been married 15 years.
No, I don't know.
I just mean
Well, if
adult.
he got married later too, though, like I was baby. I couldn't rent the car for the getaway at the reception. My wife
Take your
I
own.
couldn't even drive it because I couldn't be on the rental thing. My wife had to do that.
That's funny. Very cool.
Oh gosh.
Any other time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
good
was
stuff.
a great time.
Yeah. We'll have you back.
This is what we do.
This one has.
This one is
This one stretched on us.
There's gonna be
yeah.
some editing.
This one
done
stretched on
one.
us.
I'm fine with that. I
Yeah.
kind of felt bad. The introduction didn't even like follow a good normal introduction.
Ah,
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
We have no structure
It's-
here.
And
Nah.
that's what is great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just talking.
And people get on to me like, you're so wordy. I'm like, well, you asked.
We brought you on
You shouldn't have asked. And then,
we brought you on a platform of open conversation.
yeah.
Have open
Fantastic.
conversation.
But yeah.
Oh, cool.
Check us out, everybody, on social media.
Yep.
YouTube, Facebook. Nope, not Facebook. YouTube,
Instagram,
Instagram,
Spotify,
Spotify,
Apple.
iTunes,
Oh yeah, iTunes.
TuneIn.
Tune in.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, comment, leave us
Shout
a
out
message.
to my buddy, his clothing brand, Mount Inspiration. That's the shirt.
Cool.
Pretty sweet shirt.
Shout out to Reebok.
Shout out
They
to
make
Reebok.
a good
Yeah.
shirt.
Difference is I know this guy. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
you
don't
know the
know
Reebok,
Reebok
guy.
guy.
Yeah,
Not
probably
yet.
not.
We'll have him on.
Reebok on.
We'll have him on.
But yeah, catch us next week, every Friday.
Glad you came. It was
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Glad
Same
you hung
here.
out with us.
Yeah.
And
Thank y'all for watching.
yeah, we'll catch y'all next week.
We'll see y'all next time.